It's sending out to the world. There it goes.
I gotta find it. Where it is.
Is there a way to zoom in on my screen?
Waiting for it to load on my Facebook profile. There it is. It's on there.
I'm inviting my friends now.
I'm gonna share it to the community. All right, so we are live with the SemiPros. I think what's called is this number 5 or is it number 6? I think it's number.
It's gotta be.
I think it's number 5. It might be 4. I don't know. Who knows? We don't have Zach today. Zach is too tall for this call. He couldn't make it.
Too tall to ride this ride. A problem I've never had in my life.
He got trapped in a small building, and he's having issues getting out of there. Let's see. So, well, we got Eric and Dad, or David and Frankie.
Hey.
Frankie knows what's going on with this call, so he's going to tell everybody what's going on with this call.
Yeah, so we're kind of talking about our format, right? And how we could provide the most value. So I think what makes some of our magic
Frankie knows what's going on with this call.
Kind of us, right? So we talk a little bit, we get into it, but we also have some things like a little bit of an agenda. I don't want to act like we don't have an agenda here, right? We have some stuff that we want to talk about and some good questions that have actually been submitted to our website. So we want to thank everybody for using it and validating Eric's hard work on there. So we want to get to that too. We don't want to ignore that. But so pretty much I think we can just kick it off with some back and forth here, just some informal conversation. And then I know Eric has I think it's a good question from Darian that we can bring up and we can talk about it. I'm curious actually, because I didn't read too much into the question. Like we didn't all talk about this before we got on the call, but I'm curious to see what everybody thinks about it.
Okay. Well, so you want to just tell everybody like what's going on with each of us before we get into the question?
Yeah. Let's let them know what's going on with our lives, man. I think I would like to say that people that tune into the SemiPros care about the SemiPros.
Okay. Well, I hope so. F's in the chat if you care.
Where's Dad? Is Dad gone?
Oh no, we lost David.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, everybody's watching Game of Thrones.
Hey, happy Easter too, man, for anybody that's watching.
Yeah, right. It's Easter too.
Thank
My
you.
wife got me an Easter basket. It was fucking awesome.
Or happy Sunday, whatever. We're not pushing.
Oh no, my camera. Oh no.
I want to acknowledge that.
My old Canon.
Sorry guys.
I lost
We're having
the feed.
technical difficulties.
Oh, hold on, I'll be back.
Oh,
I'm back
yeah.
now. I'm back now.
Oh,
I had to restart it.
Damn, there we go. Okay, now I'm in the chat.
We're down one guy.
Julian's been logged in since last night.
Julian's the best. Yes, Julian, F's in the chat. Yes, finally someone did it.
Pay your respects.
All right. So anyway, I have something cool to talk about real quick. I've just finished my Christo parody video, and it's going to launch tomorrow morning. It's going to be funny. That's what this is from. It's one of the many things that happened.
Let's get the backstory. What happened that you were like, man, I should do this?
There was a future AMA episode with Chris, and the people that came on and the banter that went back and forth between the guests and Chris was like super cringy and hilarious. And he would just be like, ask a question. And they would go, okay, my question is, so my girlfriend last night, he's like, no, ask a question. A question starts with who, what, where, when, why. Ask a question. Okay, so, all right, my question is, my business is really, and he's just like, like it was so funny to me. I don't know. It just came to me to try to do something like that. So I asked him, and he said,
so what did he say?
Yeah, he just said, do it. And I was like, all right, you want to see it before I put it out or put it live? And he just said, no. Like he said, I don't want to influence what you do or something like that.
And that's cool, man, because like a person in his situation, obviously, like he's still Chris, he's still approachable, he's not like untouchable or anything, but he's got some like clout, and he's got a following. So for him to be so cool about that and be like, yeah, Mike, just, you know what, go ahead, I really don't care. Like that's a lot of self, like not arrogance at all, but like self-confidence and like security in his own self, right?
Yeah, for sure. I put it on Instagram too, and he re-Instagrammed it or whatever that's called.
He shared it.
So that gave me the kind of like blessing, you know. I was like, okay, I feel good. I don't feel like I put anything like really bad in it or anything, but I think it's pretty funny.
I remember from hanging around. Oh, Dad, hey, what's up?
This might show up in it.
Dude, so from hanging around Chris, like he's super cool, man. Like he's not like by any means like gonna like the only reason he's like that is because he's trying to give people the most of his time. You know what I mean? It's like not his personal thing, but he feels like I think that you're wasting everyone else's time with him. You know, if you don't have your question like ready to go. But that's hilarious that you like picked it up.
Yeah. No, so I put it on Facebook. I linked to the episode that you have to kind of watch before you watch my episode.
Yeah, I saw that.
So hopefully people actually see that to get the references. But it should be pretty funny, I think.
Yeah, I wanted to hit something up too. So for me and Eric were kind of just talking about this before the call. I know Eric put up a post today and he had some reactions that were really cool. And I put up a post last week on Instagram after 3 weeks of like not posting. And I brought that up. I was like, man, I haven't posted for 3 weeks, but I'm still up on followers, up on engagement. I'm still having conversations. And then I posted yesterday and I got something like 10 followers off that post, like a ton of engagement. And then we had talked to Dot and she sent some good links about like how to read the analytics. Cause I have analytics. I have no idea like what they mean for the most part, but I did some digging and like about reach and impression. Oh. And I guess reach is the people that actually see your content on Instagram, and impressions are like just like where it kind of like showed up if it like got scrolled past or whatever. And my actual reach is pretty high. So I think the audiences that we're building really actually do care about us as people, not necessarily just like, oh, smash and like or whatever.
Well, if you go by any like sort of normal modern conversion metrics, like if you're a really legit email marketer and you send out, you know, if you get 3% of your audience to actually read an email blast that you send out, that's like, whoa, dude, you're really good. Like, wow. And then if that 3% clicks something, then you're like, wow, that's really good too. And then if that 3% buys something, you know, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that's kind of the numbers.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, so just imagine the people that are commenting, liking, and whatever. Imagine the people that just aren't at all. You know, most people don't.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that I looked up the Instagram metrics, and I think average is about like 5%. So if you get 5% engagement rate, that's pretty good. So everyone says to like shoot for like 5 to 6 on all of your content that you put up. But if you can beat like 6-7%, that's pretty good. I mean, what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Is there an easy way to tell what your?
I was going to ask you because I'm looking at the post right now. So I only have like almost like 1,200 followers or 1,100 followers, something like that. From this last post, I had 142 comments, 142 likes, 44 comments, 59 interactions. Account? Yeah, I have a business account. 628 accounts were reached. 24% weren't following me. And then I had 628 for my reach and almost 1,000 for my impressions.
Nice.
But so I feel like if you, decent, especially because I don't put anything behind it.
If you want to find out your stats like really fast, I downloaded this app right here. It's called Command. Right here.
iPhone?
Or Android? Yes, see. Command.
That's the link. Oh, okay. It's right next to LinkedIn.
So when you open it up, like it shows you all this stuff like this.
For iPhone?
Yeah, it's for iPhone. I don't know if it exists on whatever, but like it'll say right here. I'm gonna click into a post.
It'll tell you the engagement rate.
Yeah, it'll basically say like, oh, like this awesome. Post got you this much engagement. Let me show you.
Ooh, this is spicy stuff.
Yeah, right here. So this one right here, the one I posted today, and keep in mind like the numbers change because this is based on also how many followers you get. You can't really see it, huh?
Try to download this right now, dude.
I think our YouTube's finally working, by the way.
Okay, but it says 6.13% engagement rate, but that's based on how many people are following you. So if you have a lot of followers, and they're not as active, it kills your engagement rate. And that's why Instagram will be like, oh, you're not, you have either a lot of bots or just not very good content, and they'll just like
I would say different content probably gives you different ranges of engagement, because if you're a photographer and you do like lots of pretty pictures, then people might like it, but not very many people are going to like put meaningful comments. They might just say, "Oh, that's a great shot" or something, but not like, "Oh, how did you what was the context of this shot, and what motivated you to take this picture?" And I don't think that sort of engagement would happen. And so I think it depends what kind of content you're putting out there.
Yeah, but the engagement rate doesn't like necessarily talk about what type of comments you're getting. It's just like all the likes that you get and the comments that happen in the post. So it's like
I guess my point is that the engagement might give us a kind of a general idea of how effective our social media content is.
Yeah.
But the actual numbers won't give you the nitty gritty in terms of like, was the bulk of the engagement likes, and you had like 2 comments where you have, 5,000 followers. And you could be like 2,000 likes, but then 2 people commented. Then
I feel a lot like social media is like being like a weatherman, right? Or weather woman, weather person. Okay. So like it would be, is it going to rain today? Probably. But if it doesn't, it's like, got us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you can only use the metrics that you have to try to, determine if your next post
just make those educated guesses,
Yeah.
You brought up, that's a great point. My wife's a wedding photographer, and most of her engagement is people like
engagement.
I see what you did there. But her engagement is mostly people liking the photos because they want like either ideas for photos or they want a photographer. So it's more of like a transactional, or they'll go to like Pinterest a lot. But mine is more like a social media blog. So I get people that are like, I'm not selling anything. I'm just kind of like along for the ride. So it's like a totally different demographic.
Yeah, so I guess it goes back to intent. It's like, what is the intent of your social, whatever platform you have? What are you trying to do? And if you're trying to convert sales at the end of the day, then that's got to be your final metric. Like, how many people are buying my product or service at the end of the day? Or if it's like what Frankie's doing, he's trying to inform people and build a following, then it's like, how many loyal fans do I have at the end of the day after doing all of this social? So I think, again, we come back to intent and like, what is the purpose of why we're doing what we're doing?
Yeah, Frankie gets hella engagement, dude. I'm looking at his stuff.
I feel like most of the people that I see, they get about like 10%. Like, they have 1,000 followers, they'll get 100 likes, it seems like. Yeah. And then when they hit past like 5,000-10,000, then they're getting to like the 4,000 and 5,000 like range on Instagram. So I'm curious, like, if one of us gets there at any point, if that's going to ever turn into any kind of return, as far as, I don't even know.
And like, I don't know, maybe I'm like too small-minded, but I'm like, really, man, like in my heart, I want to grow my social channels, but for the motivation that I want to touch and reach as many people as I can and like learn as much as I can. Like I would take 1,000 people that actually care about the content I'm putting out and that I can learn from over like 10,000 that I'm just like,
oh, definitely, dude,
on the body count. It's kind of like what I put up last time.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not saying you guys wouldn't, but I mean, that's where we're all at. And I know other people, I don't think, maybe some of the people in the audience, but for the most part, like Dave said, it's really down to like what your goals are, because in some cases, in some industries, it like almost legitimizes you, right? Like someone goes to your social page right away and they're like, oh, you don't even have like 10,000 followers. Like, get real, dude. Not business with you or whatever,
I think they're getting smarter about that though, because there's a lot of different cheats and different like automation, you can buy followers or whatever. So I think if anyone is business or social media savvy, if you have an IG account that has 100,000 followers and they go through any random picture or post, they can look and see what is the engagement. And if it's like 1%, then obviously that person doesn't have the pull and they're suspect to, how they got those followers.
Mm-hmm. Bots.
Yeah. Bots.
Yeah. Mike's your man there.
Well, there's 2 different kind of bots. there's some that just automate some nice things for you, and there's other ones that you just legitimately say, here's $100, and then they say, now you have 1,000 people following you, and those accounts are obviously all fake, and it'll actually end up hurting your engagement, because if you have 1,000 followers that are fake and you post something and nothing is liked, then Instagram goes, wow, your stuff really sucks, I won't show anybody else, and then your account is pretty much useless from that point on.
Yeah. Anyways,
So yeah,
talking about Instagram a lot,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
what
Eric,
else?
change that subject, Eric.
What else has anything interesting happened to anyone else?
What about Dad? Dad, anything going on
So
during
quiet.
the week? I know you're putting out a ton of content on YouTube,
I wouldn't say a ton of content. I'm aiming for one a
more
week.
than me.
Nice.
I'm mainly problem solving for Michael and Zach in their Premiere world.
Hey, it's easy when you have someone that kind of asks subjects of you, right?
Yeah, totally.
Oh my god, it's so awesome when there's somebody who actually is like, I want to see this, can you make it? And then you're like, yeah, and then suddenly you know who you're making it for. It's like easy, you can just like pretend to talk to them.
I was actually talking to someone today about that, and because this guy, his name's Daniel Kim. He in 2014, 2015, he put out this like end of the year mashup of videos and music and stuff, and it got I think it's more than 10 million views now, and he has like 1 million followers on that thing, but he can't monetize anything because it's all copyright material. But he started another channel with him and his wife, like a family vlog, and I think they're about 15,000 now. But so I was talking to him about YouTube, and I was telling him I have the perfect like transition to getting into YouTube, because I have a friend who is like throwing me problems for Premiere, and it just gives me content to do, and it's also easing me in because I don't have to be like full screen, full on vlogging, but I can be in a little corner, and then the rest of the screen is just my screen showing the software as tutorial. So I thought, right now I'm just like perfect transition mode until I get comfortable, which is happening even after like 3 videos.
You guys, the coolest thing just happened on my Facebook when I posted that Chris Doe thing to the Future Fans community. Chris Doe liked it, and his wife just liked it.
Wow, dude! I'll bet she's been waiting.
It just
I'm
popped
not
up on my
waiting for
screen
something
right
cool.
now. Sorry, I just had to say that. That's I'm so excited and
I'm excited for
terrified
that
at the
too.
same time.
Ooh, oh, you should have ran like a 1 minute or 30-second promo, dude, for the SemiPros.
No, it's all good. I think I hyped it up enough. So wait,
Yeah.
David.
Well,
So
it did say hype, and then you followed it with hype. So yeah.
yeah, I mean, I made it really clear that it was.
Hey, Dave, I think they're asking for your YouTube channels in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the other YouTube.
I'll post it, but I don't have 200 follower or subs yet. So if you guys can get me to 200,
Eric,
I'll have a customized URL.
Oh, that's such a pain in the butt. I think there's a way to do that without the subscriber limit. There's some trick to do it. I'll try to find that for you and send it to you.
Just set up a domain name redirect, man.
yeah, Mike's gonna do it, and then he's gonna be like, "Look, it's taken care of, but you need to change where you're living."
No. It's just
Phone
some terrible
immediately.
YouTube
Change your
loophole.
phone number.
It's like you link it to your Google Plus profile or something, and then all of a sudden it works.
Oh yeah. I read that too. Yeah.
Dude, I heard Google
Plus
Plus was
doesn't
going
exist
away. Yeah, I thought it was going away.
Yeah, but I don't. It's probably not Google Plus. I don't remember what it is. Something like that.
I think it is I use the same email for both, so I don't know.
But that's how I changed mine to luckily I got to change mine to my name. I was pretty lucky to get that actually.
I'm not going to get my name. Someone already took it. The last time they logged in or posted something was like 10 years ago.
Maybe the David.
Yeah.
like
Someone
your
owns
Instagram.
my name too. It pisses me off.
Hey, shouldn't
Let's go find these
have
dudes.
some kind of protocol where like after 10 years it gets erased if they don't post anything?
Yeah, I feel like that too, because on Instagram, this kid owns it. He's like 12 years old. And he's had it and he hasn't posted anything for like 3 years. And his mom is still active. I messaged his mom. I was like, hey, can I have your kid's username? But she hasn't responded. And I think it's
She's
because
like,
like,
I'll give you
she's in
$100.
Singapore. And I was like, dude, I'll buy it off you, man. I'll send you US dollars. It's worth more in there, But she didn't respond.
Arrogant American. I'm gonna send you US dollars in a high C. How you like that?
I was gonna mail it to her so that she can't use it and transfer it to a different currency.
Coupon for free chicken nuggets.
All right, I got something that happened.
Also,
I was telling
likes in the chat really quick.
I was telling Frankie about this earlier this week. But so if you guys ever look at the future group, I remember like a couple months ago I posted a picture of the deposit check that I got from my first client with my agency, right? What the hell? Yeah. So that client, they were quoted a 10K like MLE for a branding project, and then they were like a pretty new company, like they're young guys and they didn't know how to like run anything about a business. So part of me was thinking this might be like messy if I try to get into business with them, but it was just like a pretty good sized project, and I thought that I could do a good job, so I took the project. And if you guys remember, I posted a picture of the check, and then Alex took that picture and posted it in the future group. And then recently that client, like we lost that client in the past week. And this isn't because we did anything wrong either. And I think this is something that I realized no one really talks about, but it's kind of knowing if the client themselves are ready to enter into an engagement like that, right? Because they were so young and green that they didn't understand the value of what branding is. They understood the value of what I was going to do for them, but because they didn't have an infrastructure set in place, they couldn't really take advantage of that. So what ended up happening is the project dragged on, and we finished all the branding stuff maybe like a month and a half ago. But they started looking for reasons to kind of complain and say like, you guys didn't give us a physical brand book, and you guys didn't give us a packaging physical prototype. Yeah, all this stuff was not in the contract. It says it's all digital, like very clear. And I realized like they didn't read the contract, and that's like the first thing. They're kids. They don't know how to do business. So
you think they kind of like maybe found out after the fact about that stuff and maybe use that as a little bit of like leverage or motivation to kind of
sort of, because it almost felt like they were looking for reasons to justify that they wanted to cancel the contract out. And the contract, we stipulated in the contract that, okay, if you pay, like I told you guys, if you pay us a 50% down, right, and we don't get to that next deliverable, then you guys basically just only have to pay the 50% down, and it will kill the contract, right? And then you guys said something like, oh, you have to insert a kill fee because what if they want to cancel the contract and you guys have already got to the second deliverable? And that's exactly what happened. We got to the second deliverable, but they don't want to pay. No kill fee was in the contract.
Dad, you want to, because that was a really good conversation. And I think Dad had like a ton of good information on that. Do you want to just like real quick recap like your reasoning, like when you were like, Eric, you should have a kill fee?
Yeah, so when you start a project, you should always have a kill fee because you don't know what's going to happen if the client's going to back out because they run out of money or because some new executives came in and they want to revamp everything in a different direction. You just don't know, so you want to cover yourself. The kill fee basically is a fee where you get paid at least till up to the work that you've done. So everything that you've done plus 50% of what's left to be done. So say you went through half the project and there's 50% left to do, then you need to get paid another 25%. So total you would get paid 75% of the full approved budget. And then you guys are out, like they're out, you're out, and no one's responsible for anything else beyond that.
I like just doing what Dave says in these situations.
Yeah. He's got so much, he's like, man, he says it and you're like, Dave, Dad, come on. Why didn't I talk to you before this? I wish I could just I'm just going to bring Dad to everything that I have to do. Like drop me off in front of school. Like I'm going to come get you. Keep the car running.
Yeah. So, that's essentially what happened. I mean, me and my partner talked about it, and he was the one saying like, they signed the contract. We have to get that, the remainder check. But I think at this point I felt, and this is something that you guys shouldn't do. Everyone listening, don't do this. I'm too soft. So I responded in this way, but because I felt like I hadn't delivered what they expected of me as a creative, and they're their understanding of what the scope of the project was unclear, I felt almost like that was my fault, that I didn't communicate it clearly. So I just kind of waived the fee and I said, like, let's just close the project out. I don't really give a crap about this. I mean, thankfully I have the luxury to be able to say that because, you know, the remainder amount was like 2,500, which is a lot of money, but I don't want to go through all the hassle of like taking them, you know, and, you know, ringing them around and making them feel like they're bad guys for something that maybe they just weren't prepared for. And so I think I got from this experience before, if there's just any feeling that you have in your gut that's telling you like you shouldn't work with these people, like don't look for a reason to do it, because your gut is not like is right 99% of the time. And I should have listened to my gut in this situation.
I think that's why those schedules are really important too, right? Your statement of work, having your contracts up at front. And yeah, Philip brought up a really good point. As a creative, it's a business, right? And I don't think you're soft, Eric. I think you're actually smart and very savvy and cunning. But I think you just want to help people so bad that sometimes clouds your judgment, like in the business realm, right? Because like you said, it wasn't worth the money to actually go back and do that. And it didn't even cloud your judgment because you knew what the right answer was. You just didn't even really want to deal with the hassle. But I think that the point there was going to be more toward, yeah, it wasn't worth the hassle, but at the same time, you did everything that you were supposed to do. You upheld your end of the bargain, and whether they read it or not, they signed the contract. And I'm sure that you probably walked them through it. So at that point, it's not really a debate anymore. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, one of the trade-offs though is that we really did
get him on the phone right now.
We did good work.
Oh,
like at the end of it, I feel like we did really good work in terms of the branding aspect of it. I mean, I showed
you guys.
I showed you. Yeah, I showed you, and I thought it was pretty good. I was like, oh, this came out pretty nice. So I'm proud of the work we did.
Okay, never mind. Never mind.
The packaging one?
Don't say it.
It's the packaging one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't remember which one it was.
It was the.
Show me later.
Yeah, but I also like kind of did more work on it, and it looks a lot more refined. But I'm really happy about how the work came out, and they really, really liked the logo process. So I'm gonna put together a framework for that. $99, guys.
or just
$99 is the
on
bro
the
deal.
side. He'll give it to you for free. Hit him
No,
up.
don't message
Hit him up
me.
in a chat.
I might actually just.
He'll be like,
okay. But the thing is, like, they did really appreciate the process that I took them through the logo design, and you know, I told you about it, Frankie. It's like there's a very structured way to do it.
I could use that because I think, like, for me, just as someone doing identity as well. I was having this disconnect, right? Because I would do strategy, and I'm very good at strategy. I think I understand it well, right? I know where my strengths are, and I'm good at design. But I was having a problem going from strategy to producing like something tactical, right? Because I had all these ideas, and I would do the stylescape, and then I would be like, okay, now it's time to design the identity. But it's not. You can pull a lot of stuff from the strategy. Essentially, you're informing the entire brand, but there's still more questions, more diving in that you have to do. If you want to do an entire identity, right, and you want to do it the right way. And talking to Eric and listening to his process and how he puts this stuff together, I'm not going to steal his thunder, helped me immensely. I actually hired him to creative direct me on a project that I'm working on right now because he made it so much easier for me.
Thanks. Yes. Woo. Like I said, $99. You know, if this was a...
What?
This is an advertisement.
I'm paying you like 20x.
What would be awesome, guys, is we should all make a product individually, and then we should
then buy it from each other.
Oh, then we should bundle it, dude.
Yeah, we could bundle it, dude. I got the copywriting for it, but it's free. Everybody has it.
I was thinking about making like a course in the same price range as Eric said about how every single thing I do to start like a YouTube channel that I've done so far. I don't know how much that would be worth though.
Yeah. I got some free resources for people too. I did a Draplin tutorial today on Skillshare, and he has this thing with where he made all these basic shapes as symbols, and he just kind of makes them as a wait. I just said it. He makes them as symbols, so you don't have to remake the same shapes over and over again, and it improves your like workflow really fast. But I have that
like Sketch.
No, on Illustrator.
Oh, an Illustrator.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But yeah. End of all that, you know, they like the logo. I mean, we feel like we did good work. but we got shafted on the rest of the 50% because I'm just not going to deal with it.
Well, I think it's important, one, to get a good contract in place at the beginning, including a kill fee and everything else that, any possible scenario that you can think of that could go awry. But even that, it's not 100% ironclad, because really, if it goes to litigation, it's the person or the party that has the most money that will come out winning, because they can just drag it out and you'll be paying legal fees, and then it'll just be more than what you're even wanting.
That's when you call. That's when you call up Frankie and Mo. We have to call an audible. Where's Mo at? I know Mo. Mo's good. I'll call Mo.
Yeah.
No, hey, I got a question too before we dive into the actual question from Darian. Mike, do you mind if I test the waters? Remember what we were talking about the other day, as far as like a role play, and I was like, I think that this is a really good idea.
No, we're not doing it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what you're talking about.
With the evil client. So I want to put it out to the SemiPro group and see what they think. We only have a small group anyway. Figure see if they think it's a good idea. So I think the evil client that Mike has made, right, Scott, this guy is off the wall and he's hilarious. Everyone loves this video, this thing that's going on. The videos are hilarious, but it bridges that gap of humor and value. Like Mike does that really well. So something that I noticed from like the Future Pro group and just in general, people are kind of like eager to do role plays and like get in those situations, but they don't actually, set up the time or it's kind of inconvenient. So what I was thinking would be cool if people wanted to do it, and I'll pilot this myself, either doing a live or however Mike wants to run it, like a 3 to 5 minute role play, like impromptu, but where Mike is Scott. So it'll give you a chance as a creative business owner. Okay. Mike calls you. He's like, hey, it's Scott. And he like lays the scenario on you. And then you react to it. You're like, well, Scott. And you see, how your negotiation or holding your ground is going to be. And then after, the 2 to 3 minutes, because it's not going to take all day, Mike will give you, from his perspective, some good, valuable feedback that's actually going to be worth your time. And then it's all content anyway for everybody. And I think it would just be cool because it's the evil client. Someone gets a role play out of it and it's not actually like pointless, and it helps everybody. It helps Mike with his channel. It helps you with your role playing. And I know every time I teach something, I learn something. So I think it would be super beneficial. What do you guys think of that?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I know.
All right.
Oh no, my camera went off again. Hold on.
Oh, he's gonna come back as Scott.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't have my voice changer ready, unfortunately.
If you guys think it's a good idea, don't feel bad for me if you don't. Just drop it in the comments so we could see like
F's in the chat if it's a good
where
idea.
this could go. Yeah.
I have to see it. I have to see it before I make a judgment.
I think
I'll pilot it. I'll pilot it with Mike. You think?
Wait. He's going to call us, or he's going to call someone who's
So it would be, eventually it would grow to where people probably would submit for it. And then, obviously not calling them at a weird time, but whenever, they're ready, he calls them, maybe makes it like a 2 to 3 minute live video on Instagram. People look for the stuff like, oh, snap, somebody's doing like, it's like, talk radio almost when they do the calls in the morning and they prank somebody like, oh, he's doing the evil client. Who's on today? Oh, it's Dave. Dave's on there. What are they talking about? Oh, he's talking about, making the logo bigger or whatever it's going to be, or like kill fees. And then it gives that person the opportunity to either, fall flat on their face, which could be the worst possible scenario, but no one I think will. And then it gives them an opportunity to kind of work through a bad scenario with someone so they don't have to do it in real life, but they still get the experience. And then Mike can give them some really valuable feedback at the end, and then it would make them better. Almost like mini coaching sessions, but for viral, for content.
For viral.
I think it's an interesting idea.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
All right.
It's his way of saying shut up.
No, I think it could be really funny.
It's going to take off in like 6 months, and you guys will be like, that's what he was talking about. That's exactly. Oh my God, this is great.
Yeah, I just have to figure out a way to do it live.
But it doesn't have to be live. I just kind of thought it'd be cool live, but I don't want to freak people out either. When you call them, they're driving, and then they're like, oh yeah. I don't want to miss my opportunity.
Yeah, we have some good ideas coming forward for that channel.
We could incorporate it into the show.
Yeah.
So somewhere in this Sunday
10
night
minutes.
call,
Yeah.
it's just we reserve a time. We randomly pick someone, one of the people who are watching, and everyone have their cameras and audio ready. And then Scott will make an appearance.
I think that's good.
No pressure at all.
It's easier to be the client, isn't it?
I don't know about live.
No. Well, if it doesn't turn out, just take it down after.
Well, we need a voice changer. That's the first thing.
Yeah, I don't even know how to set that up. I have to
Angel wants to see Eric in a scenario. We're getting straight up shots fired in the oh man. Eric is actually extremely good with negotiation and debate.
Oh yeah, I'm good at closing, but I just don't.
Yeah.
I'm bad at like what's it called? The hard.
Yeah, the hard sell.
Yeah, the later, like when you have the relationship already, it's like you kind of just want to be nice and not, give up so little. Like you want to feel like you're giving them a lot, and that's the problem that I feel.
Contractor producer.
We got a question from Darian through the site.
Yeah, let's hit it up.
The site is www.semipros.co if you'd like to submit a question. Question from Darian Westbrook. I'm just kidding. It's Rosebrook. But I always think of Russell Westbrook when I see his name. The question is...
Painter.
What? Oh, right.
The question is, how did you guys make the leap from a side gig to a full-time gig? I feel like I continue to get life creep that's really interesting. Life creep, where my lifestyle matches our income. Really, we're just trying to aggressively get out of debt. And I am overstretching myself between a day job and 2 design businesses. How do you make the switch and balance open free time for business later on when you do get full-time?
I mean, I can definitely relate to the life creep thing of making more and then suddenly spending more. It's like a huge issue with anybody who ever makes any money at all. Like you read about people that win the lotto, you want to read about people who win large sums of money, and suddenly a couple years go down the road and they're out of money or they're in debt or whatever else. So I don't know. I feel like I was really lucky to have made a bunch of money and then lost a bunch of money and learned that terrible life lesson at a young age. But I feel like, unfortunately, most people, they make more money the older they get. Then when they get there, it's like scope creep for your life, right? More and more Amazon packages start coming in the mail.
It's because Prime is so damn easy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to manage it, really. It's just like you kind of just have to be happy with what you have and try to save and not try to expand. But I don't even know really how.
I'm kind of like so I don't have the answer for you, Darian. I have the empathy. I'm in a very similar situation. And I'll lay it out for you guys right now because this is kind of my journey, right? And this is like what I'm doing like on Instagram. I'm kind of just looking for people that have done it, doing it. Like maybe we can help each other. I don't know. So I'm same boat, like working a day job. I have my business. I'm in school full time. I'm copywriting for the AIGA. I have 2 daughters and a wife, and I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff I'm forgetting too. And it's hard, man. It's hard because, like this takes time. Everything takes time. And I always look at it as like this, like cause and effect. Like that's how life works, yin and yang, right? Like you move something here, something moves over here. So like you can't give 100% in all areas, right? Like I can't give, 100% to being a dad and 100% to school and 100% maybe at different times, but like not all at once. So it's really hard for me. And I haven't made the leap to full-time yet, but I'm trying to set myself up to do that. And what I'm finding at least being the most beneficial is those connections with people, like what we have in SemiPros, connections with other people. Because the questions that will come up inevitably, you'll be able to ask somebody that knows or will help you find the answer. Whether, it's not going to be the question of like, necessarily how I make 5K this month, but it could be like we talk about stuff like that. Like, how do I, you know, up my business? How do I, you know, increase whatever? And guys will help you figure that out. But I think the money issues come like way after, you know, we think about the money because it's like money, money, money. I got to pay my bills, but that's all byproduct of like having a good business and good friends and good community. So I think building those things and like your craft, me and Eric talk about this all the time. And because me and Eric sometimes we like to hate a little bit, not hate on anybody in the group, but like just between each other. And it's like, man, dude, like I think my stuff sucks. And Eric is like that too. He's like, dude, I think my stuff sucks. And we kind of hate on ourselves a little bit.
No, I say I think your stuff sucks. Remember?
Yeah, you also think my stuff sucks too. Yeah. So he thinks my stuff sucks. I think my stuff sucks. But it's like that. You know, we're always pushing to better our craft because I think a lot of times we get so involved with a lot of other things that are going on that we forget too that we have to do good work. We have to do good work. We have to keep pushing to get better and sharpening the sword, right? Because iron sharpens iron. So with all that considered, it's a lot to balance. And I don't know if there's one right answer, but I'm curious and I'm with you, man. I'm grinding it out too. So I'll be here.
Who's talking? All right.
Somebody.
I'm not in the same life situation as Darian, where, you know, he was saying that his lifestyle kind of matches his income. And I think for me, I don't really have that problem because I'm living with my parents. I mean, I didn't want to kind of spend money to go out and, you know, put additional costs on myself because I feel like right now it's a good time for me to just save. And
Smart.
like it started with little things too. Like I look at all the little bits of money that I'm spending, and I try to see if I could cut down expenses like anywhere I can. And so I have an app called Clarity on my phone that kind of links to my bank account and tells me if I have any recurring subscriptions and whatever I need to pay off. And like for a while, I didn't even pay for Netflix because that's $11 a month. And those little things add up. You don't think it's a big deal, but you're paying $11 for Netflix. You pay another like $200 for your car payments. You pay another like $20 for, all this stuff. And it starts adding up and you realize like, I don't really need these things. And my like my finances could be a lot better if I just cut the stuff I don't need. And I do this thing with purchases, like personal purchases. I'll look at it and I'll say, if I want it, I'll put it in my cart and I'll give myself like a week to think about it. Just to give myself a gap space, like a buffer room for impulse buys, because I am someone that likes to buy dumb stuff all the time. I mean, if you look behind me, like that's all Legos, but I want everyone to know those are like, those are well thought out purchases. Like,
and so the audience just dipped off.
Yeah. So I mean, I try to look for deals anywhere that I can. If I can buy something used, I try to buy it used. If I, when I go out to eat, this makes me sound like I'm really cheap, but it's because I have a goal. And I think when you have a goal for something, a very specific goal in terms of money, like you can get there a lot easier. You can kind of find those ways to kind of shave off costs. Mm-hmm. And maybe you don't buy, organic milk this month. Just get the shittier one. Come on, like save $1.
My wife wouldn't like you to say that. Sorry, sweetie.
Yeah, but $1 today, losing beer tomorrow.
Yeah. But in the case of where he says he's stretching himself between a day job and 2 design businesses, I totally get that feel, man. Because I have a day job in a sense where my main client is now kind of signing me on as their creative director. And so that's my full-time job. And so if I ever take any other clients on top of that, that's kind of like adding another part-time job on top of my full-time job. But all I can do is just treat it like a hustle until it starts generating more money and requires me to put more attention into it. That's the only reason why I would start, leveraging that time a little bit more. But yeah, that's my input, my limited input based on my limited bougie suburban lifestyle.
Yeah. All right, now hold on to your stuff because Dad's about to rock your world.
No, well, I agree with you guys. I think the first thing is you have to you have to develop a lifestyle where you can save money and you're not spending. And like when you say, that you live within your means, or you live within the means of the money that you make, like that's a very, very subjective statement. For one person, it could be one thing. For another person, it could be completely something different. So I think there's room for improvement for like 99% of America in terms of lifestyle, spending, all that stuff. And then Darian actually put in the comments, are you saying I should move back with my wife and kids to my mom's house? I'm like, well, if you can, that might not be a bad idea for a season until you get your business up and running, because that's
like a Gary Vaynerchuk thing.
Yeah, you've cut a huge chunk out of your monthly spending, right? But once you get that spending down, I think maybe he's asking like, how do I get the business side going? I think some basic things, you have to look at the runway that you have, like how much money do you have saved up where you can, like I have the next 3 months, 6 months, a year to work on this, side hustle and see if it works out. And if it doesn't work out, if I can't get a significant increase in business in that time, then maybe it's time to either look for something else to do, or take a different approach in your business. So I think you have to look at things in practical terms, in terms of like what's happening within your business, and what are you doing right and what are you doing wrong, so that you can so there's actually a progression. You can look back 3 months, 6 months, a year, and see, okay, it's growing, it's going somewhere, or it's not. But you have to be honest with yourself about where things are at and what you want. So I don't know. I think that's kind of the beginning part of it. But like Eric was saying, if you have a goal of, I want to do this, then to get to that goal, there might be a lot of different paths to get there. And you're just looking at one, like full-time work plus side hustle. Maybe there's another way to get there. Maybe it's finding full-time work as a designer or whatever you're doing, so that you're working on your craft, you're learning the business of design, and then getting some ideas and putting it into your business after that. So I think there's multiple ways to get to there, but I don't know. Hopefully some of that helps.
Yeah, I think it all depends on your priorities, how much you really want something, what you're willing to sacrifice. Me and my wife are considering like selling a bunch of our stuff so I could go full time with YouTube and stuff. So I mean, that's a big risk, right? So we decided to do some other things, but it's working out.
I would say it's a big risk, but like at least you're getting a pretty good idea of like what is the potential upside and what is the potential downside. Mm-hmm. And then like how much runway would you have, after you've sold off some stuff or whatever, you've consolidated all your assets, and then like, okay, I can try this for the next 6 months and we're not going to be out on the street. And then after that, you re-strategize if it's not where you're at, or like you've, shot past where you thought you would be, and then you can go all in, right?
Sure.
I think at some point too, and I'm not advocating that you do anything reckless, but I know for me, nothing risked, nothing earned, right? There's a correlation there. At some point, if you don't accept the risk, you try to mitigate it and make it as minimal as possible. So if something does, explode in your face, it doesn't kill you. It just maybe like wounds you a little bit or something. But there's going to be a risk at some point, right?
Push yourself into the uncomfortable zone.
Yeah, and you have to accept that. And if you want to come out on the other side, you're going to have to face it at some point. So like, I wouldn't want to see you fall into the trap either. Again, I'm not giving you advice to like sell all your shit tonight and like do something crazy tomorrow, because I don't know your situation. But you shouldn't be afraid, and you should understand that it is going to be maybe a little scary at some point, but you are going to kind of have to step out there at some point it's like training forever, you know, and not playing a single game. Like you have to actually get out there and give it a shot. What was the saying? A knight in shining armor is a man who's never had his metal tested. And I believe in that 100%. If you see the guy and his armor's all shiny and like hasn't been chinked, you're like, what have you really done? You know? So I think you shouldn't be afraid, man. And I think the reason I'm not afraid at this point is because of SemiPros. It's because of you guys. It's because I'm building a network. If I was doing this alone in my room by myself, I would be terrified. I'm not saying I don't have anxiety, because I do have a family and a lot of things to consider. But I have a super supportive wife who is amazing to me. And I know that together there's nothing that we won't accomplish. And with Dad and Eric and Zach and Mike, like, I don't think there's anything I can't tackle. I got all the resources I need. So building a really good network is going to give you the confidence. And we're here for you, dude. Like, whatever we can do, we're going to do it.
And I think we missed one giant thing. If you're running 2 design businesses and you're just living paycheck to paycheck, like that's what it feels like, you might need to charge more for your side businesses, because that's time that you can actually put a price on, because you just don't have the availability.
But that risk that Frankie's talking about, it's still the same exact risk that you're talking about by charging more, because to charge more, you have to risk saying no to people. You have to risk walking away, right? Whereas most people that get stuck in those kind of jobs, most creatives and most designers, it's because they say yes to everything.
Yeah, but I think for me, I would say like a practical thing he can do is just raise it a percentage, like a small percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, man, you make bold corrections.
But I'm saying,
I do it.
I'm saying if he feels like
the best thing to do is
if he feels like
double your price, Darian,
kind of, get some more buffer room, like he can put a percentage on that and say like, maybe I could charge like this much percent more to kind of ease my clients into that, and so I don't lose that drop off, you know, so it mitigates the risk of it.
I think that's one approach too, but I also think there's validity in what Mike's saying, because say you do have, you know, you have a side business. At what point, if you keep treating it like a side business, does it become your main business? Do you want it to become your main business? Maybe it's just like a passion thing and you do it and you get some passive income from it or whatever. But I know for me, I feel like 3 people, because I'm doing the jobs with 3 people and I can't maintain this. I'm doing this at a very specific point in my life. And it's not without suffering, but it's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make right now. And so is my family, because it's a family decision in order to get to where we want to be. But I can't sustain this for a long time, because there's no way I can give all of this energy into all these different places. But then I graduate school and that's off my back. And then I quit my day job and go full-time in design and that's off my back. And now if I'm doing okay, putting part of my time into this stuff, I know I'm going to kill it when I actually step up and put all of my time into it. And that's what I think a lot of us struggle with, you know, because how does it start? Typically part-time here, part-time there. And then you kind of make that leap at some point. Like Philip was saying, you know, you're going to face struggles, but I think there's also like a little bit of intimidation that we put in our own heads. Because every time I've stepped out to do something, I've been met with like open arms. And I know it's not like the case, but I don't think I'm lucky enough to bat 1,000 either. I think it's doable.
Yeah, anybody who's in the future group or in this future community, it's very welcoming. So like just when you say things the way you say them, I think straight to creating content, making videos and putting yourself out there in that sense. Because I think most people want to do that, but most people won't. And it's scary as hell, but I don't know. It's been pretty easy for me personally because everybody's been really nice about it. Like everybody's been super nice about it. I did get like there was always every time I'd release a video, I'd always get a downvote from somebody, and it always pissed me off. But other than that, I don't know. Everybody's been pretty cool about it. Nothing's really changed much except for things are better, I think. I don't even know where I'm going with this.
I'm curious why he has 2 side businesses, like 2 side design. Do you know anything about that or the context, Eric?
I don't. Eric?
No, I'm not sure about why there's two design
Because
businesses.
I mean, my without knowing, my gut feeling would be to challenge him. Like, why two? Could he drop one of them? Is there one that's more passionate about developing? I mean, eventually he can do both of them, but is there one that he wants to birth or launch?
Well, I think
first?
one is his, and then the other one is his full-time job.
Oh, that's the okay. I thought he
That's what
had
I'm
a full-time
guessing.
job plus. Okay.
Oh, so you think he has a
No,
full-time
no.
job plus two businesses?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he said he has a day job and two design businesses.
Yeah. So I don't understand that.
Oh,
That's confusing.
well, he's in the chat, so maybe he'll let us know.
I mean, also you could think about, I mean, how much can you realistically commit? Like you're probably going to be moving more into like a project manager role if you're going to be running, because how much can you realistically do as one person if you're doing everything, right? If you're doing
especially if you're doing the deliverables too. Like,
yeah,
holy
if you're
shit.
doing all the tactical stuff, there's like you're going to maybe 2-3 projects and you're going to be working like crazy, and that's probably just for yourself, you know, not counting all the other stuff. So you might have to
Right.
think about delegation, building your roster.
Because for me, if I was working a full-time job plus trying to, like, in a sense, test out how viable my design business would be in the market, I would test that out in terms of like do that on the side and see how much business I can generate, and basically work myself out of a full-time job where I'm getting enough, side businesses or businesses in my side gig that my full-time job now. But again, like what Michael was saying, there comes a point where you have to take a leap because there's no, like, you can't stay up 24 hours a day every day to do two jobs. It's just not possible.
If you build up enough runway, and I know you're going to need it because you have a family and, you know, bills, but it gets easier if you say no to, 4 clients and you say yes to 2, but it's at the rate that you deserve or that you need, so that now you've covered your bills with 2 clients versus taking like 10 at that lower rate because you feel like, oh, man, I just got to say yes. I got to get this work. I think that'll drastically change your life too.
There's something else huge here though. And that is when you're a designer and you're the typical designer who doesn't like the business, leads the sales. You just want the work. You're good at your job. You just want to do the work and get paid for it. Those kind of designers, typically, like I said, they'll take the lower paying jobs because the client will come on strong. They'll control the conversation. They'll control the budget, and they'll control the deal in general, right? And when that happens, the designer is showing a lack of confidence. They're backing down. And you know this when you're talking with somebody that you're in charge of the conversation, you can kind of push them around, especially in like a business situation. And so they get the upper hand. But when you start legitimately and respectfully saying no to work that is not enough money for you, that doesn't hit your MLE, that isn't worth your time or whatever, your confidence starts to build. And your tone and how you speak to people changes, and those jobs that you wouldn't get before, those big ones, they start becoming a lot easier to hit, because when the person on the phone with the money is speaking with you and you're speaking back at them confidently, that's like the biggest part of wanting to work with you is, if I pay you all this money, can you deliver? And if you're not confident about that on the phone, whether your work is good or not, no one's going to pay you all that money. So that was a big turning point for me personally, because I would feel like, oh my God, someone's calling me on the phone. Like, they want to work with me. I'm excited. I have expectations now. I want this deal. And then when they call me and they're like, hey, we have, $2. I'm like, shit, I'm disappointed now. I needed this. I could have bought this with it. I could have got rid of this bill with it. Suddenly I'm making all these concessions, as Frankie puts it all the time, and I'm getting pissed off, and I'm starting to grow resentment before I even start the job, and the client knows all of this subconsciously, that you're basically rolling over, so the engagement usually doesn't go well from there. And then you have this job that you don't really want to do, and then you get another one, and suddenly you're stressed out, you're buried, whatever. But it isn't until you start saying no to those jobs that you don't want that this kind of starts turning around. And that's a very jumping off feeling, saying no, because it doesn't feel right, especially when you feel like you need something. Yeah.
Well said, man. I don't have a follow. I mean, it's top of the hour anyway, but I think that was a good way to go out.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't know about that. How's the game going, Eric?
Yeah, dude, it ended an hour ago. You guys won.
Okay.
The Blazers won. Blazers win. Yes.
All right. Well, Z, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think I'll be respectful of everybody's time. I know sometimes, we get excited. We could talk all night, so we got to save some for next week.
Sure. Well, does anybody have any closing thoughts or anything they're waiting for me to shut up so they can say?
No, I think a lot was covered tonight. I definitely learned some stuff. Even talking through some stuff with you guys. What did I learn?
Yeah.
Eric's stuff is always super insightful. When he came with the those who shall not be named and the lessons learned there. I cannot remember if I actually explicitly put a kill fee in my schedule. So I know I'm going to go look back at that and make sure that that's in there.
I don't have a kill fee in anything I've ever done.
Yeah. So, that's literally not just implied, but if you kill the engagement, it's subject to this amount or whatever. That's a big one because it's time. You'll never get that back, and effort and energy.
Yeah, and you're never going to think to put that kill fee in something until you got burned, maybe Eric's never been burned and he's just smarter than all of us. But that little thing you said could have saved a ton of people right now. Now you don't have to wait to get burned. Just do what Eric tells you to do.
I will say most of my client relationships are pretty great. I've never had a bad experience with the client until now. So I'm doing something, but I honestly, it might be because I'm doing it for so cheap, right? And I'm doing a lot of I
don't know, dude. I think that's even even more of
really good work.
You're even more of a unicorn because you said you're doing it cheap, and they have super respect for you. I don't know, man. I think you could really charge a lot.
His workflow is tight. Everything he does is tight. The work is solid.
Yeah, that's true.
We gotta, just keep beating down the armor on Eric and up those rates.
I keep working with Asian people. That's why.
That's for another time.
Well, you should try. Have you tried, just as an experiment, the next call you get, the next interested client you get, just try double.
If they have an accent, no, sorry.
No. Nothing to do with race.
No comment.
Well, whoever it is,
you're not allowed to talk.
Just turn my camera off.
Whoever your next client is, just double your rate. Whatever you were going to charge them, just give them 2x that number. See what happens. Worst case scenario is they say no. But what if they say yes?
Then I'm screwed because then I have to do that double the work, don't I?
You don't.
No.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys.
It's another conversation.
Eric, scared the shit out of me right now.
Yeah.
I should. I tell this to all the people that I'm kind of coaching on the side. I tell them what? Why are you charging so little? Just double it. And then they're like, oh no, I can't do it. I'm like, dude, don't be such a baby. Come on, they have money. They have money. And then it's when it's me, I'm like,
it's scary.
It's already so high up there.
Yeah, dude, it's scary. I know, man.
Dude, and I don't. This isn't arrogance, but I've done that, and I literally cannot get rid of people. I'm literally trying to fend them off with
That's
money.
because of your confidence. It's going to be confidence on your phone.
Because I literally can say no. I'm no, I can't do that. It's got to be at least this. I'm sorry. I don't think I'm the right guy. No. You're
but
the
it's
right
not
guy.
just saying no. It's actually meaning it. and actually like believing it in your heart, like when I say no and they're gonna be like, okay, I guess not, and then you're gonna hang up the phone. You're not gonna go, oh no, okay, I'm sorry. You know, you have to actually believe like, no, like I'm saying no, I don't, you know, that's it.
Michael.
And that shit's hard, dude. It's hard to do.
Eric, you could practice on me, and you'd be like, absolutely not. There's no way I could do that. How do you want me to do that?
You guys are scared me with the role play thing.
Never Split the Difference, man. Great book. How do you want me to do this? How am I supposed to do that for you? There's no way. And then silence is your friend.
I usually just say no anyways, because I just don't like doing some work. But not be. So the thing is, like,
don't say no. Just
yeah. Don't say no. Make it super expensive. That's
make
it.
So
that is saying no.
It would actually be worth it for you to do it.
Yes, dude.
But it's some projects. It's just like I don't want to do it, so I say no.
But if you charge if you charge like 5 times as much, dude, then you just hire someone else to do it, and you just made 5 times as much.
Yeah, that's true.
And someone else is doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the worst case scenario? They say no. Oh, look, you got what you wanted.
That's true.
Good job. Good job, man. You just had a little practice session on the phone. You're feeling confident because you're too good for them.
You had a little practice session with Scott, the evil client.
You're like, people are knocking down my door, dude, but I can't take them all, so whatever.
I got Legos to build, so unless you're about to offer me 10x what you just said, nah.
Yeah, dude, think of all the Lego sets you could get.
I
have a Millennium Falcon up there. I do.
Oh, I have one too. It's back there.
Yeah, I have an unbuilt R2-D2 in my closet. A big one, like this, like the real big one, like this. My wife got it for me, and I never. Sorry,
I collect a lot of crap, dude. I just realized.
If anybody hasn't liked this live chat, please like this live chat. It'd be really neat. I need a little thing that says like the chat.
I liked everything. Yeah. So
don't like the chat, then
share it. Share it. Okay. Guys, look for Mike's video tomorrow. I know I'm going to be looking for it. Chris, whoa. I'm excited.
Yeah, I never did anything with the name. I don't know.
Dude, should have been Chris Don't. I'm saying.
Remember when he roasted that chick that asked him, she's like, are you going to remind me about all the books you just told me? I saw his like
oh, dude, you were there in the moment too, like
in person.
Live, yeah. I like ducked out.
I was sweating. I was so cringed when I heard that.
I literally was just like,
I think I was at work and I like yelled out loud.
Man, people don't know how to ask questions.
I don't know.
She was a volunteer.
Yeah, dude, she went for it.
Yeah.
She volunteered.
Yeah, she was like, "Give me the mic. This is what I have to say."
Give me the rock.
like holy shit.
Are you gonna remind me about like these books later?
Do you remember the one girl who was like, "You're so funny, ha 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 ha"? Do you remember that part? Like when he was like, "Oh, that was a pity laugh."
Yeah, that was Katie.
And I was like, "Oh, don't do that." I was like, "Oh, don't pity laugh."
All right, dudes. Well, I'm gonna hop off.
Yeah, right. Same.
Fine. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Share this.
I never know how to wrap this up. Oh, I get to play the music on the way out.
Thanks for coming. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. If you like this, or if you don't like it, let us know. Let us know why. So
but don't tell us why you don't like it in the chat though. That's just me.
Tell us why on semipros.co.
Yeah, because Eric did a lot of work on that website, and it would suck if nobody used it.
And we still don't send any emails, despite having had your emails.
That's because we're not going to spam you. We not going to spam you.
You're supposed to put something on the website though as like questions for us, right? Like possible topics. So use the website for that too, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay,
and
I guess I'm going with the music then. Oh
right,
shit! I don't have it ready.
Catch you next week.
Bye, guys. Next week, Aaron Draplin. Just kidding.
Yeah. It's gonna be Mike dressed like Aaron Draplin.
Yeah, it'll be me.
Or Zach. We'll have Zachlin.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right.
Oh, Rob's in the chat. What's up, Rob?